Hello friends, welcome to Exam Preps Tamil. In this video, we are going to see about the history or the story of UPSC, that is Union Public Service Commission. In this video, I am going to explain you about the history of the UPSC, how British maintained the administration or the civil services in Indian land and Indian subcontinent through their British East India Company. Before the start of the video, I am committed to admit that the content provided in this video is available for free in official website of UPSC, and the images provided in the video are the reference I have taken from the British East India Company rule and the civil services in 18th century. So let's get into the video. Before that, please subscribe to our channel, do press the bell icon and share it to your friends. So let's get into the video. Civil servants for the East India Company used to be nominated by the directors of the company and thereafter trained at Haileybury College in London and then sent to India. Following Lord Macaulay's report to the Select Committee of British Parliament, the concept of a merit-based modern civil services in India was introduced in 1854. The report recommended that patronage-based system of East India Company should be replaced by a permanent civil services based on a merit-based system with entry through competitive examinations. For this purpose, a civil service commission was set up in 1854 in London and competitive examinations were started in 1855. Initially, the examinations for Indian civil services were conducted only in London. Maximum age was 23 years and minimum age was 18 years. The syllabus was designed such that European classics had a predominant share of marks. All this made it too difficult for Indian candidates. Nevertheless, in 1864, the first Indian Sri Satyendranath Tagore, brother of Sri Rabindranath Tagore, succeeded. 3 years later, 4 other Indians succeeded. Through the next 50 years, Indians petitioned for simultaneous examinations to be held in India without success because the British government did not want many Indians to succeed and enter the Indian civil services. It was only after the First World War and the Montague-Chelmsford reforms that this was agreed to. From 1922 onwards, the Indian civil services examination began to be held in India also. First in Allahabad and later in Delhi with setting up of a Federal Public Service Commission. The examination in London continued to be conducted by the Civil Services Commission. Similarly, prior to the independent superior police officers belonged to the Indian Imperial Police, appointed by the Secretary of the State by competitive examinations. The first open competition for the service was held in England in June 1893 and top 10 candidates were appointed as probationary assistant superintendents of police. Entry into Imperial Police was thrown open to Indians only after 1920, and the following year examinations of the services were conducted both in England and India. Indianization of the police services continued to be very slow despite pronouncement and recommendations of the services continued to be very slow of the East India Commission and League Commission. Till 1931, Indians were appointed against 20% of the total post of the superintendents of police. However, because of non-availability of the suitable European candidates, more Indians were appointed to the Indian police from the year 1939 onwards. Regarding forest services, British India government started the Imperial Forest Department in 1864 and to organize the government affairs from Imperial Forest Department. Imperial Forest Department service was constituted in 1867. From 1867 to 1885, the officers appointed to Imperial Forest Services were trained in France and Germany. Till 1905, they were trained at Cooper's Hill, London. In 1920, it was decided that further recruitment of the Imperial Forest Services would be made by direct recruitment in England and India and by promotion from the provisional services in India. After independence, the Indian Forest Services was created in 1966 under All India Services Act 1951. Regarding central civil services, The civil services in British India were classified as covenanted and uncovenanted services on the basis of nature of work, pay scales, and appointing authority. In 1887, the Attention Commission recommended the recognition reorganization of the services on a new pattern and divided the service into three groups: imperial, provisional, and subordinate. The recruiting and controlling authority of the Imperial Services was the Secretary of State. Initially, most British candidates were recruited for these services. The appointing and controlling authority for the provisional services was the respective provisional government, which framed rules for the services with the approval of Government of India. While the passing of Indian Act 1919, the Imperial Services headed by the Secretary of the State for India were split into two All India Services and Central Services. The Central Services was concerned with the matter under the direct control of central government. Apart from the Central Secretariat, the most important of these services were the Railway Services, the Indian Post and Telegraph Services, and the Imperial Customs Services. To some of these, the Secretary of the State used to make appointments, but in the great majority of cases, Indian members were appointed and controlled by the Government of India. The origin of the Public Services Commission in India is found in the first dispatch of the Government of India on the Indian constitutional reforms of the 5th March 1919, which referred to the need for the setting up of permanent office charged with the regulation of service matters. This concept of a body intended to be charged primarily with the regulation of service matters found a somewhat more practical shape in the Government of India Act 1919. Section 96C of the Act provided for the establishment of India Public Service Commission, which should discharge, in regard to recruitment and control of the public services in India, such functions as may be assigned thereto by rules made by the Secretary of State in Council. After passing of the Government of India Act 1919, in spite of prolonged correspondence among various levels of the functions and machinery of the body to be set up, no decision was taken on setting up of the body. The subject was then referred to the Royal Commission of the Superior Civil Services. In India, also known as Lee Commission, the Lee Commission report in 1924 recommended that the Statutory Public Service Commission contemplated by the Government of India Act 1919 should be established without delay. Subsequent to the provisions of Section 96C, the Government of India Act 1919 and the strong recommendation made by the Lee Commission in 1924 for the establishment of Public Service Commission, it was on October 1, 1926 that the Public Service Commission was set up in India for the first time. It consisted of 4 members in addition to the chairman. Sir Ross Barker, a member of Home Civil Service of the United Kingdom, was the first chairman of the commission. The functions of the Public Service Commission were not laid down in the Government of India Act 1919, but were regulated by the Public Service Commission Rules 1926, framed under subsection 2 and Section 96C of the Government of India Act 1919. Further, the Government of India Act 1935 envisaged a full Public Service Commission for the Federation and a provincial Public Service Commission for each province or group of provinces. Therefore, in terms of the provision of the Government of India Act 1935 and with its coming to effect 1st April 1937, the Public Service Commission becomes the Federal Public Service Commission. With the inaugural of the Constitution of the India in January 26, 1950, the Federal Public Service Commission came to known as the Union Public Service Commission, which is now UPSC, and the chairman and the members of the Federal Public Service Commission become the chairman and members of the Union Public Service Commission by virtue Class 1 of Article 378 of the Constitution. So that's all about the history and the story of UPSC, how it is formed. So to know more about the UPSC and the preparations and the class lectures, please do follow our Exam Preps Tamil channel. We also provide English content merely. So please subscribe and support to us. Thanks for watching.